Hello guys, this is Modish Major here, bringing you some commentary over some Titanfall gameplay. The score in the background is a 23-0. This takes place on Attrition, which is why I'm fairly proud of the score, to be honest. This is definitely the highest score I've gotten on Titanfall so far, and the highest score I've seen on Titanfall Attrition anyway. I haven't really been seeking out gameplay as it is. I've just been trying to perfect my own as much as I can. But I've been having an absolute blast with the game. I think the momentum you can gain in this game when everything's going your way can be so fascinating to both play and to spectate. And it's almost like I'd put this game in a category of its own. I think it's almost invented a new genre. It kind of reminds me of games like Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, in the fact that those games are called spectacle fighters. I almost think that this game is a spectacle FPS. Like, everything that happens in front of you is built to be satisfying visually. The way in which you execute with the Titans, the way in which you eject from the Titans, the way you embark into your Titans, it's all built to give you this thrill and this excitement that every life could have a ton of potential in it for something crazy and exciting to happen. And even if you're not doing very well in the game, even if you're having a couple of bad games, there's probably something you're going to be able to take away and experience a moment that's just going to be so satisfying that you wish you could show all your friends. It's one of the things that actually frustrates me about the game is that this game, more than any other game, would benefit massively from having a theater mode, because this is just the sort of game you want to show off something that happened in your last game. You know, when you have a game on Titanfall, usually your first takeaway is like, God, I can't wait to show someone what just happened in that moment. It was insane. And the fact that you can't do that is a little bit depressing in my opinion. I know they've got Upload Studio, but I'm a little bit skeptical of that. I think you can only upload like 30-second clips. And there's no editing software to be found on the Xbox One, so it's a little bit disappointing. But I've been using the Strider Titan recently, and as you're about to see, you're probably going to see one of my best gameplay segments on Titanfall as of yet, as I pull off, I believe it's the 6-man mega kill. I'm not necessarily 100% sure, but this Strider is extremely satisfying to use. It comes packed with 3 drift boosts, which I think is just insane, and the recharge time on those drift boosts is pretty darn swift. And really, when I play with the shotgun on foot, I have a very aggressive, fast-paced playstyle, and I don't want to break that momentum when I move into my Titan, so I really wanted to pick a Titan that suits, you know, what I'm aiming to do, my objectives, my playstyle, etc. And the Strider definitely does that. The Ogre is way more on the defensive side, and you have to play a little bit more smart and campy and kind of worry about, you know, because the Ogre, if you get backed into a corner, you're in a very troublesome spot, whereas the Strider can get out of some ridiculous situations. And there's just been moments where, like, I've just gotten out of the most insane situation with, like, 3 Ogres fighting me, and I just thought, how did I manage that? Like, what is this Strider? It's ridiculous. And as you'll see, squeeze the pilot. Most epic thing I've ever seen in my entire life. That never gets old, for the record, ever. I think I could do that for the rest of my life quite happily, and I would still have a smile on my face. But really, Titanfall, when it comes down to it, I'm going to, you know, be a little bit less biased. I think I'm extremely, you know, on the side of Titanfall, so it might just seem like I'm a little bit too much on the hype train, and I might be making some of you guys who weren't able to afford an Xbox One a little bit jealous. I'm not trying to do that. I can't hide the fact that I'm pretty passionate about the game. But this game definitely has its potential problems, its potential shortcomings, and I wouldn't necessarily say it's to do with the gameplay mechanics themselves or choices of the developers. It just feels like, you know, there is this question of how long will this game last, and I think it's dependent on how good the DLCs are. And I've had a couple of ideas for what I'd want to implement into the game. In terms of primary weapons, I'm not particularly desperate to see much more. I think there's enough variety on offer to make it still fresh. You know, you can change in between these playstyles of assault rifle, shotgun, SMG. You know, when you go back to games like Modern Warfare 2, yes, they had a lot of guns, but really how much of them were worth using? You know, at least 3/4 of them I barely even picked up, and if I did, I always found them disappointing. There were usually a very small fraction of guns that were good, and the thing is, in Titanfall, is it seems like they've really done a good job of filtering out the best weapons. So I'm not really desperate for much there, but in terms of the actual Titans, I think there could be I would like to see 2 more Titans in a DLC, and I kind of have an idea I want to share with you guys on the subject of which Titans. I think, like, I've had three ideas, really. One is, like, a glass cannon, a Titan that has a ridiculously powerful ability, like maybe like a supercharged laser that it can fire out, but it's also like a glass cannon in the fact that although it has this ridiculously powerful ability, it is extremely vulnerable, so you need to play very smart in order to be able to let off this attack, and you have to kind of set up for it, bait people into it, and once you commit to that attack, you kind of get stuck in this 3-second animation of like, now you're in the laser, you can barely move, you just have to like target the laser. I think that would be really cool. I thought the idea of a Titan that was like an exoskeleton, that wasn't necessarily a fully body-sized Titan, so it could still wall run, but that was extremely vulnerable as well. It took damage very quickly, but it was basically a Titan with the ability to wall run. It has like a Titan weapon of some description, but it can be taken down far, far, far easily than, say, the actual Ogres or the Atlases and even the Strider. The last Titan I thought of was the idea of a medic Titan of some description. Now, I'm not necessarily sure if this would upset the balance of the game. It's something I would want to see tested, honestly, before I actually went into it, but I think it would be really cool to have this support Titan that didn't really pack a lot of a punch. It was fairly vulnerable in its health as well, but it could heal enemy players, it could put down a regen field, and it could work really well alongside its Titan. Maybe it has a weapon that it can shoot at its teammates, and it slowly, you know, heals them and consumes health. That would be really cool. I just think they need like a little bit more to add to the dynamic of the Titans, because it can get a little bit samey, and I do think to myself, you know, 6 months down the line, will I still be excited with these Titans and what they have to offer? And that's obviously going to be a debate that goes on for the coming weeks. Anyway, I've been Modest Major. Hope you guys enjoyed the commentary and the gameplay. Thank you for watching. Peace.